All right, Team Way, it looks like I am live. We're gonna go ahead and get rocking on this. So yesterday I posted about how we're gonna talk about the question, where do I go next, and how purposeful practice or deliberate practice can help us unlock some new levels in our nutrition and maybe even in life, depending on where we are and like the things we're doing. So we're going to go ahead and just jump right into like, what is purposeful practice? So purposeful practice is about being deliberate with the feedback and using that feedback to improve the way you practice, right? So we've heard that term, practice makes perfect. We're out here, just repetition, and 10,000 hours is what we need to master something. So 10,000 hours is absolutely probably what you need to master something, but there's a big difference between 10,000 hours of practice and 10,000 hours of deliberate practice. And that's what we're here to talk about, is how do we use deliberate practice to make ourselves more successful, to learn faster, and to improve quicker, right? So let's use if I riddled off 10 numbers right now, just random order, you might be able to remember a few of them, right? So it's like a phone number. There's 10 digits in a phone number. We can generally remember that digit when we start to put it into an area code, the next three, and the final four. But if we just rattled off 10 different numbers and I had you recite them right back to me, we're likely to not remember them because we haven't practiced them. But then when we start to say there's like deliberacy, or like when we're purposeful in those numbers, that's when we can start to add in the deliberate practice and improve quicker and learn faster. Okay, so let's go ahead and just jump in right into nutrition and how this matters in nutrition. So let's say you check in with your coach and protein is the thing you're really, really struggling on. Because protein is most common what we really struggle on. And so we're going right into protein. You check in with your coach and you're like, hey coach, I'm really struggling with protein. I just can't seem to hit it. And your coach comes back. So we've identified the problem. We've voiced the problem. Step 1 and step 2 are complete. The first way to change something is to identify the problem. Then we voice it. And now we're given feedback. Our coach gives us feedback on the problem, right? So we've got feedback. Now it's like our coach said, look at adding in protein to your breakfast, maybe increasing protein at lunch. Maybe we even resort to using a protein shake for dinner or after dinner to help increase our protein intake. So we've been given feedback on how to improve this problem. And now it's our opportunity to be deliberate with that problem. So this week, I can actively focus on getting protein in my first meal. I can actively focus on drinking a protein shake at the end of the night to hit my protein. If we just come back next week and I'm like, hey coach, thanks for all the feedback, didn't hit my protein again this week. Did we deliberately try to practice, or did we just hope that we were going to get there? There's a big difference in practicing purposeful practice, right? So purposeful practice would be like, I didn't hit my protein. I realize that I lack protein in breakfast. Tomorrow, I'm going to add in egg whites for breakfast to increase protein. We purposely practice how to improve what we're trying to improve. Or we go, tomorrow, I'm just going to hope that I hit my protein. Maybe I will, maybe I won't. And now we're not really being purposeful with how we're doing it. Okay, so that's a good example using nutrition and protein. And as our good friend Justin Sua, if you follow Justin Sua on Instagram, he says, we want to live a purpose, or was, oh gosh, now I can't even, I'm on the spot and I can't even remember it. I'll get back to that one. I'll remember that. Justin Sua has a good quote on purpose. So now the question becomes, how does this help me, right? Or where do I go next with my nutrition? Maybe it's with life, all those things. And we start to look at the progress we want to make and how are we going to get there. Okay, so let's set a goal of, we signed up with WAG, we've actively started hitting our macros, and now we're like, I want to improve performance. I want to have a six-pack. I want to be healthy so when I'm 50, I'm around to play with my kids or whatever we have. we've set our goal, and now we want to be purposeful of how we're going to get there, right? So because we obviously all want progress quickly, and if we just hope that progress is going to come, it's nothing more than a wish. So we want to start to build this purpose behind how we're going to practice this moving forward. And the best way to do this is taking feedback, right? So when we get feedback from almost everything we do, everything's got measurable feedback in some instance, right? If we're hitting our macros, we're either hitting them closely or we're not. That's feedback that we can still improve. Or maybe we're hitting our macros, but then we have the question of, I'm hitting my macros, but my performance isn't where I want to be. And now we got to get purposeful about adding more carbs around our training. Or maybe now we've got macros dialed in, we've got training dialed in, but we're not recovering as well as we can. That's when we want to start to look at, how do I get purposeful with my sleep to help improve recovery, right? So everything that we're focusing on a daily basis, we can add purpose to, that we can practice with intention. And when we do that, that's how we're going to grow and learn faster than if we just continue to hope that next vacation, I'm just going to be better with my nutrition. Or maybe next week will finally be the week that it just all clicks. Because it's not all just going to click one day. It might feel like that if we're purposely practicing getting there, it will all click. But it won't just happen that way. So the other thing to consider is we're all experiencing life, and life happens at an alarming rate sometimes, right? So you've got this plan, you're going to go crush it this weekend, you're going on vacation, life happens. Something comes up, something happens with your hotel, maybe all the restaurants you were going to get completely changed, and now all of a sudden your plan is no longer successful with that exact plan you had, and now we have to practice a new plan. How do we adjust that plan that we had to be successful in that situation, right? And that's answering the question of, where do I go next? How do I learn to balance this on the aspect of, like, life is going to happen and I want to continue to improve in the ways that I can, that I know I can, because I've learned all the things that I've been through. So I know what I've been through, I know where I can go. And we start to answer that question of, where do I go next with my nutrition? Where do I go next with my career? How do we just continue to practice with a purpose so we can continue to improve in a way that is faster, that we can learn quicker. And then it also helps us kind of like unlock this new challenge within ourselves that we can overcome a lot of things, right? And I really like to focus on, like, when we're talking about breakthroughs, overcoming things, it's always important to focus on where you've been, what you've already gone through, right? So maybe you're 12 months into your nutrition journey. That last 12 months, you've been through that. You went through that. You understand the struggles of going through that. And that's what's made you stronger 12 months into the journey than you were 12 months ago. So we really want to focus on where we've been, where we're going. And then when we talk about where do I go next, how am I going to get there? And that's by practicing on purpose with purpose. Remember when I said I'd come back to what Justin Su'a said? He said we want to, what I just said, practice on purpose with purpose. Live a life on purpose with purpose. And that just helps us continue to grow and take the feedback that we're given to help us improve. So I know this is kind of short and quick. I really just wanted to hop on here, focus on practicing it with purpose and using the feedback that you get on a daily basis, or maybe even a weekly basis from your coach, from your peers, from your family, to help yourself improve and actively be open to change. Because people, when they give us feedback, they give us feedback because they care. They understand that we can do better. They want us to do better, and they want to give us the tools to do better, right? So if your boss gives you feedback, it's not because they don't like you. It's because they want more out of you. They know you can give more. And when we start to look at feedback with a purpose that allows us to be more purposeful in our lives, now all of a sudden feedback goes from a negative thing to a really positive thing that's going to help us grow and become better at what we do and how we do it. So really, like, when it comes to check-ins and figuring out how to be successful with your, like, getting the most out of your check-ins, or maybe getting the most out of your coach, It's taking that feedback and being really purposeful with it, right? There's going to be some feedback that you get in life from a coach that's like, coach, that didn't matter. Like, been there, done that, don't need it. That's okay. There's other things that we can focus on that are going to help us move forward than having to dwell on the things that's like, my coach told me that already, or I've already had that feedback and it wasn't applicable in my situation. That's okay. We don't want to dwell on it. We don't want to fight it. We just simply say, that doesn't apply. What things do apply, and how do I use them to be more effective in what I'm doing? So yeah, that's really all there is to purposeful practice. If you're looking for a book that is, I'll post it in the comments. There's a book that talks about this. It's called Peak. It's by Anders Ericsson. I will post it in the comments just because it is a phenomenal book that talks about elite athletes or even just elite people within the music industry on how they purposefully practice to become the best they are, or can be the best they can be at what they're doing. So I'll post that in there. It's a great read if you're looking for something. Maybe we can do it as our next WAG book club book. Megan, that's for you. But yeah, so that's all I've got today on purposeful practice. It is here in the United States. If you are watching from the United States, it is Memorial Day weekend. You have yourself an amazing Memorial Day weekend. Enjoy the long weekend. If you aren't, like Kate, my wonderful friend Kate here, watching from wherever you are, I would love to hear where you're from. Post in the comments. You as well have yourself a wonderful weekend. And we appreciate you being here at Team WAG. We love you guys. If there's any questions, I'll be in the comments answering them. Thank you all for tuning in.